Hi everyone, this is Nadina again. Welcome to my channel. Today I would like to talk about Safemoon and especially about the latest news, which are pretty crazy, that their CEO, John Karony, sued his own mother. So Safemoon has been involved in a few lawsuits, but now he's suing his own mother. What that's about, I'm going to talk about in a minute, but first give me a like for my video and subscribe to my channel to hear more content like this. So yeah, just briefly, what is Safemoon? So Safemoon is a token on the Binance Smart Chain. It was created in 2021 in spring, around March. And that was when all this hype came out with like meme tokens and so on. And Safemoon got a lot of traction. They have a huge community. They had a huge trading volume. It was insane. Their community is extremely strong and supportive of the token. And so the token itself is designed so token holders earn like passive income. So it is deflationary because always a percentage of each transaction goes to the burn wallet. So tokens are burned each transaction, while also a percentage of it goes back to the holders and back to the liquidity pool. So when you just look briefly on their website, it's actually the second version of Safemoon. So they had previously a different version of the token, but the design wasn't really good. So they kind of created a new contract and introduced version 2, but it's still on the Binance Smart Chain. I personally have never been a huge fan of Safemoon. I think they always have a lot of empty promises. There was always lots of talk in their AMAs about what they're all creating and working on, but actually results, not really. So when you look at their website and you scroll through, so even the language they often use is kind of a little bit over the top, and it just doesn't sit right. So a human-focused technology, which is interesting to like what technology is not human-focused. Interesting. An innovation business expanding blockchain technologies for a brighter tomorrow. So yeah, that's a nice goal to have, expanding blockchain technologies, but they haven't really produced anything new. I think the only thing they created is a wallet and a swap. So tons of tokens out there have a wallet and a swap. They don't have their own blockchain. They always claim that they're working on their own blockchain, but they're using Binance Smart Chain, so they don't really expand the technology behind the token. So yeah, the Safemoon protocol version 2 is a community-focused DeFi token that forms part of the expanding Safemoon ecosystem. I'm really questioning this community-focused part here. Like, what is community focused? Like, every token has a community, but it is a company that supposedly develops stuff for the community. It's not a community token. And there have been tons of reports that the members of the company earned an insane amount of money while the token holders didn't get much back from it. So yeah, here you see the breakdown. There have reflections, 4% is redistributed to all existing holders. LP acquisition, so 3% is added to the liquidity for each transaction, which has been shown that the Safemoon company actually has been removing the liquidity over and over and over again. Questionable what those funds are used for, because they've also been raising for exchange listings. So what are you using that liquidity for? Then 2% token burn, as I mentioned, and they say 1% in the growth fund, whatever that might be. So yeah, here is the wallet. They're showing that they have launched and that they want to have now an exchange, which has been announced a while ago. Nothing has been really shown at what state it is currently. So lots of empty promises in my view. There are lots of people that they have a different opinion. They truly believe in Safemoon. There are lots of people that truly believe in Safemoon. So I don't know, who knows, maybe they will produce something in the future, but it's just, yeah, they don't have a good record of showing actual results for their promises. So, yeah, I stumbled across this article today, which is pretty strange. So, Safemoon CEO John Karony sues his own mother in court. And this article has been published over different outlets. The most formatted one I found on Reddit. So I'm gonna go through that, what that is about, because yeah, who wants to sue their own mother? It's very weird. So they claim here that all documents and records are public information available on the US PACER court system. I personally haven't verified exactly whether that information is actually correct, so take it with a grain of salt, but it seems like it's actually legit. So when you go through, the person that wrote this states, this is probably the most explosive thing I've read about Safemoon, and for me the bar for John Karony was already low as hell, but somehow he's managed to scrape the earth away and slide his belly under it. The case is between two groups. It's Lex West, which is an investing company, so they are the plaintiffs, and they're suing Emanations Communications Group, and that's John Karony's mother's company, so they are the defendants. I need to summarize this super quick. For context, feel free to skip it to see the juicy information below. So the context is John's mother, name changed to Janet, started a company called Emanations Communications Group, or short ECG, is working in the Gambia on a new antenna technology. John Karony agreed a 33% stake in a company and future profits and invested $5 million between June 2021 and March 2022. Now, just for the context here as well, so Safemoon was created in March 2021. So that's a pretty huge initial salary when you think about it. So yeah, maybe that's where the liquidity goes. I'm not so sure, but yeah, you should really think about that. So towards the end of 2021, John's reckless actions with Safemoon, poor communication, poor timekeeping, lies, broken promises, is kind of what I mentioned earlier, caused Janet Karony and ECG to put John at arm's length, as they didn't want ECG tainted with his image. Janet Karony then sought additional funding from Lex West. It's about $1 million for operations to keep it going. She signed a deal with which had certain clauses and conditions in, and if his contract was breached, it would result in Lex West seizing ECG and intellectual properties as collateral for the loan. How does a narcissist take this information? Not well, usually. John then proceeds to threaten lawsuits against his own fucking mother in order to try and wrestle control back, as he felt he wasn't getting anything for his $5 million investment. This triggered the terms of Lex West's agreement that states they can seize assets, and they accordingly took control of ECG and all assets and IPs. In summary, John's public candor and management of Safemoon caused his mother's company to distance themselves from him, and by having a shit fit and threatening to sue his mother, Lex West took the company from both of them. So now John is legitimately suing his mother and has filed as a movant in the case, where he is claiming she committed fraud and embezzled funds. He is registered on this case along with his shell companies Ronin Real Estate and Ronin Energy. So just briefly a look up here, you actually have here Lex West Ltd versus Emanation Communications Group, and you have here Braden John Karony and Ronin Energy Group here in this case. So it seems it's actually legit information. So let's go through these few points here. John Karony invests $5 million 3 months after joining Safemoon. That must be an impressive salary. As I mentioned, it's pretty crazy that he had $5 million to invest after such a short time after they launched Safemoon. John demands his own personal bills come out of ECG coffers. During certain times after making his investment, John demanded payment of utilities and other personal expenses to be imposed on ECG funds to satisfy his outstanding personal bills in the amount in excess of $50,000. John's mother determines his character presents too much of risk of her company. ECG determined that John Karony created too many regulatory risks and that due to the lawsuits filed against him and his company, which is actually a class action lawsuit from investors that just feel like we're screwed over. So obviously a company doesn't want to be associated with that, and it makes total sense they kind of pushed him out. John diverts company time to pursue Safemoon bullshit around materials. So in December 2021, intellectual property was shown and provided to John related to hydrophobic and hydrophilic technology developed at the request of John. This diversion of time and attention was done when ongoing work on the antenna project was of priority. John starts to claim ECG business innovations are his own for Safemoon. After June 2021, John has been disclosing more information about developing technology of ECG for the benefit of his cryptocurrency business Safemoon. John demanded receipts of ECG ops related to technology expenses so he could make claims on social media and Safemoon website about the technology. Yeah, I remember those AMAs where he claims about those patents and such, so it's pretty crazy. John tries to cut his own mother out of her own company. This is a long one, but will worth, trust me. So, nevertheless, in March 2022, facing a deadline to create value and seeking a solution promised on social media by John to show progress for his cryptocurrencies on or before their 1-year anniversary, John reached out to and received an invitation from our business partners in the Gambia. Their partners are dual US and Gambian citizens, Ambassador at Large Sangung Jawara and Pa Olia Jawara, who works with the Gambia's National Police Force as head of anti-corruption and the serious crimes divisions. The project in question was the opportunity for John to invest in a proposed reinstatement of the country's defunct agriculture bank. A brick-and-mortar bank would be immeasurably beneficial to John's cryptocurrency company, Safemoon, as it would allow crypto to be exchanged into fiat currency. It makes total sense. To that extent, John was extended the courtesy of an invitation based on being our son. Sankung and Paul Elliot, giving John the benefit of the doubt and in hopes of creating a reconciliation opportunity between mother and son, agreed to allow him to present his business plan and agreed with the request that they would attempt to persuade me to move forward if John's business proposal was in the best interest of all parties. Instead, at the conclusion of the last trip, John, with John's counsel present, offered Sankung and Pa an upfront payment of $350,000 to cut Janet out of the transaction. Sankung and Pa Elia refused. John then expressed the belief that Sankung and Pa Elia were misrepresenting the process of approval for the proposed bank and offered him payments of up to $4.5 million to be paid out over time, with the understanding that Janet was again removed from consideration. Sankung and Pa Elia refused again, not only because of the proposed circumvention of the business partnership with me, but also John's assertion that there was a way to circumvent the legal and parliamentary procedures required for John's desired bank project. So this is pretty crazy, but I've always wondered, why do they always talk about the Gambia? Like, why the Gambia? It's the smallest country in Africa. I think it only has like 2 million citizens. So it's crazy. Like, I was thinking, like, why that stuff going on in the Gambia? Why are you promoting that? Why aren't you targeting on any other country? Like, this is not, like, if you're not like making any results or like you don't deliver on your promises in that region, why are you picking the Gambia? But now it makes total sense. So he had connections through his mother and was trying to meddling somehow that he could like exchange Safemoon for a fiat currency. So that makes sense now why it was the Gambia. Then John steals the ambassador's car, leaves the Gambia illegally, and bribes border guards on the way out. It gets better and better. John's reaction was to improperly transport business assets and property, to include personal property belonging to His Excellency Senkung Jawara, across international borders of the Gambia. Senkung Jawara ambassador and Ali Jawara, Interpol representative and police officer in charge of major crimes and anti-corruption, have raised serious concerns about John's unprofessional and unethical conduct. That is, when John improperly removed a vehicle from Gambia country by bribing his way across borders instead of filing proper paperwork and living in accordance with international law and regulations. So I have no words for that. Janet requests John stop hijacking her company's progress and take as his own. John began calling the labs of ECG and ECG Ops Dark Moon and Area 32. I, Janet, repeatedly counseled and hosted John for months, explaining the risks to his personal investment and company by continuing to disparagingly referred to the labs as Dark Moon and Area 32. ECG wanted no such taint to be associated with such designation. John refuses having his ownership of ECG bought out. Per ECG operations agreement and in the hopes of mitigating additional harm and our members' irreconcilable differences, ECG exercised its rights to a buyout on August 5th, 2022. He refused to discuss a money payback buyout of his membership interest. Discovering what happened to Project Phoenix. Project Phoenix was always this mysterious project that Safemoon advertised in their AMAs. So what is this about? ECG Energy was created at the same time as ECG IP and was specifically established to be used for Ronin's wind turbine project. John was given a license to the wind turbine technology and the technology of a pending patent developed during December 2021. Despite repeated requests from ECG for a business plan and budget, John never prepared. John did not provide a business plan or a business proposal for the wind turbine to continue, so there were no additional records to provide for these entities. John and Ronin later walked away from this entity and discontinued using it by January 2022. And I remember how they were like bragging about the patents and all that. They even had like some little video about some wind turbine tests, which they certainly grabbed from somewhere else. It wasn't legit. The reason the Ronin wind turbine project fell flat was because John prepared no business plan or further budget. He dropped it. No surprise to me there. John pretends to own ECG products and IPs to drive hype for Safemoon. Due to his social media comments, it became apparent that John was not interested in the content of the financial documents, but was looking for opportunities to take pictures of the lab, as I said, to substantiate his published claims of owning our labs, which he called Area 32 or Dark Moon. As of August 27, 2022, John continues to make false claims to include his reasons for discontinuing his work in West Africa, blaming supply chain problems. And the last one, John accuses his own mother of legal trickery to squeeze him out. Janet defendants change the loan documents and invent a default so that Lex West could purport to seize all the property of ECG and the ECG SPEs and take ownership of it to the detriment of John Karony. Well, this is a lot. So, I don't know if you've been thinking to buy the very low price Safemoon right now, because look at this chart. Just look at this chart. Where do I have it? Look at this chart. Look at it. That's where it was once, and that's where it is now. So, if you've been debating about buying this dip, read that article yourself, make up your own mind about it. I think this is the end of Safemoon. It can't get much worse. But that's my take on it. You might have your own opinion. If you're from the Safemoon army, you still believe in the project, yeah, good luck. So that's it for today. Give me a like for this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel, and see you next time. Bye.